Welcome all. Thanks for joining us for a very worthy topic, Facebook Marketing Essentials, something every business needs to know. First things first, my name's Colin. Great to meet you. I'm a social marketing consultant here at JumpCrew. I am not the only person here doing what I do. We've got a room full of folks just like me, and I spend all day looking at and thinking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above, and helping our clients to better reach their customers, better engage their customers, and indeed find new customers in these new and absolutely amazing online ecosystems. So today we're going to focus on Facebook. There's obviously a lot more to do. And speaking of focus, instead of focusing on what makes content popular and attention-grabbing, we need to focus on what makes content personal and conversation worthy. That's what we're going to talk to you about today. We're going to talk a little bit about targeting, some other things, but really it all comes down to putting quality stuff out there. Just like your business, if you make something quality, people are going to want to do business with you. Today, we're going to talk about 4 main things. We'll talk about getting started on Facebook. A lot of you have probably already done this. If you've got a business, it's highly likely you've got a Facebook page. But did you set it up right? We'll take a look at the basics of what you should make sure that you've done. We'll talk about knowing your audience. You may know your customer, but it's also about knowing how they behave online and what they want to see there. We'll talk about appealing to the algorithm. That refers to how Facebook decides what to distribute and how to distribute it, who to put it in front of, and how you can get on Facebook's good side. Finally, we'll talk about letting the data lead you where you need to go. It's always a guess and check method with Facebook. Probably some of you started your business in much the same way. But what's great about the social media networks is they provide a ton of data feedback that can help you to course correct and get better at reaching people over time. Okay, we'll start with optimizing your Facebook page. The very, very first thing that you've got to do is create your page and give it a name. This needs to be something simple and meaningful. Your business name will work. Now, there's a lot that goes into should you create separate Facebook pages for your separate locations. We won't get into that here today. It kind of depends. If that's the case, oftentimes I'll just tell people, hey, business name, then a dash, then the location. Doesn't even have to be the full name of the location. I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. If there were 4 locations of JumpCrew, which there are not, I might say our West Nashville location would just be JumpCrew-West, something like that. Keep it simple, keep it under 70 characters. That makes you a little bit more SEO friendly. Google is now indexing Facebook. They have been for quite some time. That's really good for you. If you've got a robust Facebook presence, they are crawling over your Facebook page, taking a look at your content. And if you've got good content that's being posted regularly, they like that. But it all begins with setting it up right. Keep it simple, keep it catchy. Let's talk about NAP data. That is a really fancy sounding acronym when you say it out loud. NAP data sounds pretty cool. It's not cool. It's your name, address, and phone number. Name of your business, address of your business, phone number of your business. Your hours as well can go into Facebook. The basic information needs to be consistent, not only on Facebook, but as you know, all across the internet. It's just as important to have it straight on Facebook as it is to have it straight on Google. And it's very important that you set that up right away. It's pretty easy. There's an About section of your Facebook page. Fill that out. Put a little paragraph in there about who you are and what you do. Could be anything. Could be a short paragraph. Could be a couple of paragraphs. Hey, here's how the business got started. Here's what we do really well. Could just be, here's our name, address, and phone number, and where to find us. Call us when you need to get the tires changed on your car. Including your address helps all of these local search indices. Indices being the plural of index. Learned that in math class in high school. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't learn anything in math class in high school. There are probably a couple hundred significant local indices that will eventually, either by humans doing it or by using an algorithm, crawl over your Facebook page and pull the relevant information about your business and populate it on their pages. If you've got it right here, it'll end up right in a few other places. Google really likes to see this, and it really likes to see that your stuff is consistent all over the internet. There are a number of tools that you can use to actually check up on how consistent you are appearing all across the internet. We've actually got one here at JumpCrew. It's free to use, jumpcrew.com, and you can find our listings analysis tool. You put in your business information, the name and the address and the zip code of your business, and it'll spit out some information about how consistent you are across the internet. A lot of business owners are surprised to find that the business name is maybe spelled a little bit differently. Maybe the West location is listed as the main location. Maybe you've got INC after your name in some places and not in others. Things like that are important to pay attention to because Google is not actually smart. It's a computer. Any difference that it sees, it simply interprets as, hey, this is incorrect or inconsistent. And it says, I don't like this. And your SEO ranking can hurt as a result. So I definitely encourage everybody to pop over to jumpcrew.com and fill out our listings analysis form. It's a cool free tool that we provide to people because we just think it's kind of sad when this stuff is not correct, and we're happy to help if we can. Let's get on to more interesting stuff, shall we? Setting your voice and your tone. This is who you are online, how you talk to your audience, what you say. You've got to answer this question for yourself. Who you are and what you do and how you do it is going to be the determining factor here. How do you like to talk about what you do? Who do you think you're talking to? And what do you think they need to hear you say? What kind of conversation will your audience want to see you having and generating online? These are questions that only really you can answer, but let's talk about some guidelines that can be helpful here. I think about your tone, your voice, your presence online, on social media specifically, in terms of three main things: your culture, your community, and the conversation that you're having. Your culture is, who are you? What is it like in your office? What kind of a business are you? Are you a really serious business like an insurance company or a law firm? Are you a really fun business like this business just down the street from us here that makes huge balloon installations for kids' parties and restaurant grand openings and things like that? And how should what you do and who you are inform how you speak online? It's not always a straight line. You could be a serious business like a law firm and be funny online. You're probably not going to get people to see a Facebook post and decide to buy something right away every single time. If all you do is post about your products, you're going to bore people to death. So think about carving out a voice and a tone that's more human, that shows people you're real people with a real personality. What's your culture? Who are you? I also spoke about your community. It's important to think about who you're talking to. What are their problems and concerns? What are their goals as people or as customers of your business? It doesn't all have to be about how your products can improve their life. You can simply use your social media as a way to strike a chord, make a connection with people, help them to see you in the same light as they see themselves. Who's your community? Who are you talking to? Write these things down. Who am I? What's my company culture? Who's my community? Who are my best customers? Who do I want my customers to be? And once you write those down, you may find that you surprise yourself a little bit. When you look kind of objectively at who you're going to be talking to, it can really inform what you're going to say. The third part of the culture, community, conversation is the conversation. What do you add to the conversation? What are you saying online that is bringing value to people's lives? You've got to say something that's worth saying, right? Now, hey, please buy my products is worth saying because your products are great. But so is, hey, did you see how awesome the weather is today? Make sure everybody gets outside. Think about what you're bringing to the table. What can you really add to people's lives but with the conversation that you're having online? Be consistent. Make sure that all your posts actually have a similar voice. You can have serious stuff and you can have more fun stuff, but just make sure, and a lot of businesses accomplish this by making sure that the same person is writing all of the posts, or that the same person is at least editing and approving all of the posts. Just make sure that before you hit that publish button, you're asking yourself, hey, does this sound like us? Is this what I want us to sound like? And you'll be just fine. Know your audience. Let's dig a little bit more into this, shall we? Understanding your audience is, I think, the key insight for any business owner. That is what informs what you sell and how you sell it, how you market it. That's going to inform how you speak online. You're probably going to have some assumptions about who your audience is. That's only natural. I think that's really helpful. You're going to start with some pretty good ideas of who you think you're talking to, but what's great about social media is that you're going to be able to see what really works to engage these people. You may know who they are, but you may not exactly understand what causes them to take action just yet, at least in the context of Facebook. So try different types of content. Try asking some questions. Try commenting yourself underneath your own posts. Try different kinds of pictures. Try pictures of people, then try pictures of product. Try inspirational quotes. All of these things are legitimate things to try. You've got an idea of what's going to work, but you really don't know what's going to work until you just try some things out. Posts that really resonate with people are going to be obvious to you because they're going to click like on these posts, they're going to comment on these posts, and that's how you can test out to see what works. Diving a little deeper into all that, try and get your customers involved. See if you can get your customers actually interacting with you on Facebook. And this starts within your store, in your four walls. Part of your four-wall strategy, even if you're not, say, a retail store that people can walk into, everybody's got a four-wall strategy. It's what happens when people are inside of your business. For you, inside of your business might mean they're on your website making a buying decision or learning from you, researching your products. Whatever it is, whenever you're in front of people, remind them that you're on Facebook. They're on Facebook. 8 out of 10 U.S. adults are actually on Facebook now. It's a pretty unbelievable number. That means that 8 out of the last 10 people who walked into your business are on Facebook. And believe it or not, the numbers about what they're doing on Facebook are even more impressive than how many of them there are. Those people, those 8 out of 10 people, are spending on average 49 minutes per day on Facebook. That's actually down 2 minutes from last year. So, scary trend, right? No, they're still spending almost all of their online time on Facebook when they're not working. They're on Facebook on average 18 times a day, and fully 12 out of those 18 times are on their mobile phone. Kind of some interesting numbers for you I like to toss out there. What that says to me is that if I can get my customers talking about me on Facebook, their friends, who are all also on Facebook, are going to see me on there. That's got to be good for business. Let's see if we can inspire people to talk about you on Facebook. See if you can subtly remind them to select the See First option. If people say, oh yeah, I'm a really big fan of your business, or if you notice somebody who is a regular, they're a repeat customer. Hey, do you ever interact with us on Facebook? It can be a little bit tough unless you go onto our page and select the See First option. It's really easy to find. It's right up there where they click like on your page. If you look up there, there's kind of a drop-down menu right underneath the like button that says See First. And that simply means that when they open up their Facebook news feed, your posts, your most recent posts, will be right at the top of their news feed. It's a great thing. I personally use it for a few accounts that I know I really want to see all the time. There's one that gives me some pretty good news. There's one that gives me some great local information here in Nashville. There's one that is a food truck association because I need to know where to get good lunch. That's how I use the See First option on Facebook, and people may appreciate you reminding them about it. Make sure you're requesting, too, that your happy customers leave you reviews there. You may be fielding and even encouraging reviews on other sites like Yelp, etc. We see these sites are actually getting less and less traffic as Facebook is gaining more and more traffic. This is just an overall trend. It's been going on for years. Yelp, in fact, has actually lost 70% of the stock price in the last, say, 5 years. They may not be around forever, but from where we sit right now, it looks like Facebook will be. So if you can encourage people to leave positive reviews on your Facebook page, they're going to have real longevity and lasting impact there. That's a great place to send people to leave positive reviews about you. Some business owners tell me that they're scared of that. They're afraid that people will leave them a bad review. If you are in a business that for whatever reason, the nature of your business is people love to leave bad reviews, hotels come to mind, you can actually disable that feature on your Facebook page. So maybe try it out. Don't worry about getting a few bad reviews, because if you get a lot of good reviews and on top of those bad reviews, that's what'll be at the top of your page. Your 2 most recent reviews will be previewed on your Facebook page. Try and make sure that you're getting enough frequency that if you have the occasional bad review, it doesn't actually matter that much. And hey, for me, this is just me, a 4.9 star rating actually seems a little bit more realistic than a 5.0 star rating. You know, the occasional bad review, well, that's going to happen, and I think most people understand that. But what you should do is monitor those very closely. Not only your reviews, but also comments on your posts that are further down your page. It's very easy to set up notifications as an administrator of a Facebook page for when people comment. Make sure you've got your notifications on lockdown. Make sure you understand what you'll be notified of and that you're receiving those notifications and that you respond within 24 hours. We find that for our clients here at JumpCrew, if we engage with a bad review or with a negative comment within 24 hours, that person has over 70% likelihood of actually taking that negative review down or modifying it or deleting their comment. For the most part, people just want to be heard. And when you react professionally and graciously to comments that they leave on your Facebook page, they feel heard. And they sometimes kind of feel bad about having left such a negative review. For the most part, people don't want to be negative. They're really good at it sometimes, but I don't think they want to be that way. So go ahead and engage with them. Hey, I'm so sorry that you had that experience. That's not what we want to see you having here. We would love to talk to you about how we can make this right. Can we take this conversation offline? Can you give us a call? Can we take this to direct message? Something like that works really, really well. Simple. Just apologize, empathize, and then take the conversation offline. Speaking of direct messaging, do use the Messenger feature in Facebook. It's great. People like it. It feels really personal. And if you're a business that has a lot of engagement on your Facebook page, you may need to set up a little autoresponder, just like Williams Honey Farm has done here. They are actually a client of ours here at JumpCrew, and we do actually comment and respond to everyone on their Facebook page within 24 hours. But what you may get right away, if it's late at night and no one's online, is this little autoresponder. Hey, thanks for getting in touch with us. You know what? It'll take us a sec to get back to you, but we really do want to talk to you. That's fine. People understand that. That is totally reasonable. I think it's a great feature that you can use on Facebook. Do enable that messaging. It is really frustrating when you want to communicate with a brand, but you can't figure out how to. And I think a lot of folks who can't figure out how to contact you through your website or don't want to do a form fill on your website, if your website is one of those that doesn't provide the info at option, and you're asking people to fill out a form, a lot of people just won't do that, but they feel at home on Facebook. They feel like this is a real kind of communication line to you, and they're apt to use this messenger feature. it's a great thing for you to be taking advantage of. But again, just make sure you're paying attention to it. Make sure your notifications are down and you understand that you're going to be notified. And Facebook will actually kind of grade you on this. When you go on a Facebook page, the next time you open up a Facebook page or your own Facebook page, take a look on the right-hand side there. It'll say response to messages quickly, or response to messages almost immediately, or responds in about a day. Things like that let people know how engaged you are. It's a good little snapshot of kind of how trustworthy you are on social media. So do make sure that you've got a good routine down for checking these things. Understanding the new algorithm. Let's all pause for a drink of water here because this gets scary. Here's a little quote. The goal of Newsfeed is to show you the stories that matter most to you. Facebook and or Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook announced early this year some pretty significant changes to their algorithm. They want to encourage meaningful conversations. That's the buzz term, meaningful conversations. What does that mean for you as a business? It really simply means you've got to have high quality content. They still want you as a business to reach your people, but they want to make sure people are seeing high quality stuff. So Facebook has decided we're going to distribute just a little bit less content from brands and businesses and news outlets to people because people really would rather see baby pictures from their brother-in-law. They still understand that people want to see what your business is posting. And hey, Facebook makes money by charging other businesses a lot to get in front of these people. So it's still going to be possible for you to reach people, but you've just got to be doing it right. So let's talk about how to do that. Be better. We say real, not more. I'm just going to say be better. Think very carefully about what you want to say and how you're going to say it. This goes back to voice and tone. What's your company culture? Who's your community? Who are you addressing? And then what are you adding to the conversation? Posting more frequently is no longer prioritized by Facebook's algorithm. They don't really care how often you post. As long as you're posting regularly, as long as you're posting a couple of times a week, that's enough for Facebook to understand that you as a business are engaged and present. You do not have to post every day. Now, for some businesses, it doesn't hurt you. Hey, if you've got the time on your hands to post every day, go for it. But oftentimes what you're doing is you're just going to spread the engagement that you're going to get anyway out across more posts, which means you're doing more work for the same result. What you really ought to be doing is finding ways to put higher quality content out there that will inspire people to interact with it. When real people interact with your posts, Facebook notices. They love that stuff. Even if it means having fewer followers that engage more frequently, you'll want to put content out there that really is engaging for your audience, that inspires people to click like on it, that inspires people to comment on it, that inspires people to tag their friends and recommend that they check out your content. Think about doing that more so than you think about trying to get more likes, more followers. If you have an account with thousands and thousands of followers, or if you build one and you end up putting content out there that does not effectively engage these people, Facebook's going to penalize you for that. They're going to see that as a negative. They're going to say, well, they had a chance to get in front of an awful lot of people, and people aren't really loving this stuff, so, we may not prioritize putting this page's content in front of a lot of people. Think through, make sure you're putting quality stuff out there. Also, the length of time that people are spending on a post matters quite a bit. And so creating posts that have nice pictures along with a nice comment and maybe even have some engagement below them where you're making sure that some of your followers are commenting and starting a conversation can really, really help you out. That segues nicely into talking about post interaction. Likes, comments, shares, and time spent all hold different weight. Facebook is rather opaque. It's kind of hard to tell what really, really works and what definitely doesn't work. But you'll figure this out over time. We know a few things. Reactions have a lot of weight these days, and that's what these little emojis are all about. When people react to your posts, that means they're putting a little heart, little smiley face, little sad face, whatever it might be. Those are actually good for you. So it's nice to see that. It's really easy for people to do. It's easy for you to ask your employees to do something like that. Get things kick-started with people that you know. Who interacts really matters. If it's only your employees all the time, Facebook's going to kind of understand, well, this business has a really small group of hyper-engaged people, but it may not be compelling to a wider audience. So keep thinking about how to reach more people that really should be a part of your community. Not just more people for the sake of more people, but more people that are those kinds of people that you want to engage. Newer posts get rewarded more. So as a post gets a little bit older, 3, 4, and 5 days old, you'll see the engagement taper off. That's a good indicator that you should go ahead and put a new post out there. But older posts that still have good new activity will actually expand the reach of your page. And what's great is, as those posts are still placed in front of folks will probably be clicking through to your Facebook page, and when they get there, they'll see the newer post. So if you can have a really, really quality post that's getting great engagement, you've started a conversation, there are 12 or 15 comments on this thing and it's still going, maybe that's also a good indicator not just to let that sit and rest on your laurels, but to put a new post out there, because Facebook's going to like seeing new stuff, and those people who come to comment on that post that's doing so well are also going to see that new stuff. Something to think about. Targeting Facebook groups is a great way to inspire some of this interaction. I talked about maybe asking your employees to like your stuff. I think that's totally legitimate. It's not a really hard thing to ask your employees to do. But where can you find other people that don't already know about your business? You can join Facebook groups, though, really easily. So think through, what are some industry groups, or what are some groups that people who are in your community of customers might be involved with? Search around. Try and find some cool groups. When you do, join them. Join them as yourself, as a person who obviously works for your business. They understand, that you work for a business, but you can't really overtly promote to most of these groups. In fact, a lot of groups on Facebook have some pretty strict rules about that. So whenever you join a group, make sure that you're reading those guidelines that are usually right there at the top of the page before you join, and just be a little bit more subtle. Hey, this conversation that y'all are having in this group seems relevant to what we do over at my business, so pop over there if you think that might be valuable to you. Is really different from, hey, I'm making a post about my business. You should all buy my product. Make sure you come over to my Facebook page and click like. People don't like to do that. It's not going to play well on a group. That's what that third bullet point is really about, offering relevant content. Think about it the same way that you would think about your own Facebook page. What can I add to the conversation? What can I say that's actually going to be valuable to these folks? What they'll do is eventually they'll figure out who you are and what business you work for. And that's a better way for people to find your business, through discovery rather than through you kind of trumpeting yourself to them. Following the group rules we've been talking about. That last bullet point is really great. Create your own group if you need to. If you can't find your community online, why not create it? That's pretty cool. And hey, that's a place where everybody who joins that group will see, this group was started by Joe. Joe works at JumpCrew. Jump Joe seems like a pretty cool guy. Maybe JumpCrew is a cool place. Let me click over and check out their Facebook page. Not a bad idea to start a group, especially if you can't find exactly the right group out there. Let's get into what to post. What to post. Where do you get these ideas? Some days are better than others, even here at JumpCrew. If you don't have great ideas today, well, maybe you've got to just come back to it tomorrow. But there are some guidelines I think we can give you that'll help you to understand kind of how to start thinking about what to post. This is a lot of the same stuff we've already been talking about, right? Focus on content that really connects people, that's going to resonate with them, content that's going to be meaningful to them. Post content that naturally creates meaningful interactions. What that means is post content that might actually leave a little bit of information to be desired, An example would be asking a question. We've got this product and it does X, but what do you guys do to deal with Y? Make sure that you are posting a good mix of media. Some posts, almost all posts, ought to have a visual element to them. You should almost never be posting things that are just little snippets of content, a little sentence, like a tweet. Twitter's different that way. On Facebook, you almost always need a visual along with your post, but it shouldn't always be an image. Maybe it should be a short video, even a little 6-second video. Maybe it should be a little slideshow. Maybe it should be a link through to a little photo album that you've created. Mix up the media that you're posting. Facebook's central innovation is that they've got more data about a logged in user than anyone has ever had, even more than Google. They know more about you and me than Google knows about you and me than anyone ever has. We give them all that data by telling them our name and our email address and showing them who our friends are and oftentimes where we work and the things we like to do, stuff we like to eat. All of these things that we're clicking on all over Facebook, they add up to a really robust data set. What you as a business owner can do is take advantage of this data. It's not creepy. People would really rather be served ads that are relevant to them than ads that are not relevant to them. I personally am really happy that I get ads for men's clothing instead of women's shoes. Doesn't weird me out. I'm just happy that I don't have to sift through stuff that's not relevant to me. And oftentimes, I find really cool stuff that I want to buy via Facebook ads. You can do the same thing, but you're going to have to figure it out over time. It all starts with understanding what your objectives are. Just think about what your goals are. Do you want to get more people liking your Facebook page because you're just getting started? Do you want more people to watch your videos that you've made or promoted about your business or about your industry? Do you want more people to be engaging with your posts? Do you want comments? Do you want likes? Do you want reactions? You want people to share your post with your friends? Is it an increase in followers that you're looking for? So expanded reach and increase in followers are two different things. Reach is how many people you're getting in front of. Followers are how many people are actually clicking like on your page and choosing to follow you on a regular basis. Do you want to generate leads? Are you trying to send people through to your website? Are you trying to have them sign up for your email list? Are you trying to generate leads and ultimately drive sales? Or are you really just trying to get brand awareness on Facebook? Think through those objectives. Think through what some good content might be to target those objectives. Think through what you think will work to get people to take the actions that you want them to take. Throw those posts out there and then learn from every post. Take a look at what's happening. The reporting software that Facebook has developed is robust. It's amazing. It's really fun stuff to look at. You can track post by post how they're performing, how many people they got in front of, who those people were, where are they in your town? All of these things can inform what you post in the future. So take a look too and give extra weight to the engagement that happens. What you'll find is when you look at the data, you'll be able to start pulling a little bit of a story out about what people like to see and from you, what they like to do with what they see from you, and that'll inform everything that you do in the future. Keep track of your performance. It takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of learning, but the data that is available here in Facebook can be data that informs everything else that you do in your business. Think through how this data can inform everything else that you do, and I think you'll find Facebook is an incredibly rewarding place for you as a brand to spend time. I think that about wraps it up for us. I've got one or two extra goodies, and I encourage you all, while we're going through this summary, to start typing some questions into us. Send me a couple of questions. I'll answer a few questions in the time that I've got left. What we talked about today, though, kind of to wrap it up, is keeping your page information updated. Your NAP data is super important. Your name, your address, your phone number, your hours. Make sure that you get to know your audience and get your customers involved. Think about who they are and use your posts to figure out who they really are and who's really interacting with your content. Post really good content that people are apt to share. When you see people sharing stuff, man, really encourage that. Keep posting more content like that. And keep in mind that these days, quality is just plain better than quantity. track and analyze what works, keep going. We here at JumpCrew are really, really pleased to be able to give you some of this information. We're just really pleased that you chose to join us. I've had a couple of questions come in, so I'd love to look at a couple of these questions in just the last 2 or 3 minutes that I've got here. Let's see. Here's a good one. Are you able to improve your page if you've made some mistakes with bad posts in the past? Well, sorry that you feel like you've made some bad posts, Susan. Maybe they're not as bad as you think. But absolutely. Hey, Facebook is a timeline. Facebook is something that you've got to keep updating, which is a challenge and an opportunity, because eventually, as you put fresh posts in on the top, the old kind of bad stuff will fall through the bottom. Now, it's usually not considered best practices to delete old Facebook posts and to delete old Facebook comments, especially when you delete especially negative comments. There are some pretty famous examples of that really backfiring on companies. It just kind of makes people angry. They feel like you're dodging the question or the issue. But if this stuff is truly old and it doesn't feel that volatile to you, you can delete these old posts. No big deal. And probably not too many people are seeing them once they're old, but if it makes you feel more comfortable to just not have them there at all, you can do that. But the most important thing is to be posting consistently and putting new content in on top, quality content in on top. That's going to help you. Eventually, all the old stuff will be water under the bridge. Here's one. How do I know if my page was impacted by the algorithm change? Well, this is a pretty easy one. Everybody's page was impacted by the algorithm change. You may or may not have seen a big change in the distribution of your posts or what your followers are doing thus far, but you're likely to. You're likely to see that your organic reach, that is the reach that you've got with a post that you don't actually pay Facebook to boost, is going to continue to kind of tick downward. But if you're able to inspire quality conversations, if you're able to put really, really quality posts out there, you're going to be able to stand out still in this ecosystem. We love helping independent businesses survive and thrive. It's what we do here. If all this is seeming a little bit overwhelming, hey, give us a call. We help a couple hundred businesses with their social media pages. We help them find new customers. We really, really love what we do. I think we're really darn good at it. We're built from the ground up to do this stuff. So what we hope is, even if you just reach out with a quick email question, what we can do for you is answer it and just plain be helpful. Feel free to reach out. My name again is Colin Piggott. Thank you so very much for joining us here at JumpCrew. We do these webinars the second Tuesday of every single month, and we even sometimes do some in between. I hope you'll join us again soon. Take a closer look at us. Check out our website at jumpcrew.com, and have a great day.